Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. How are you?
I'm in my car going to work.
Excellent, excellent.
Where in India are you, or where in the world are you?
Well, I'm in Bangalore right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm professionally an architect, and I found it very interesting about you saying that you're talking about smart cities.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm interested in getting different perspectives and different opinions.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So what's your perspective on smart cities in Bangalore?
Yeah, well, I think it's something that cities need to be planned, especially
Uh-huh.
while living in a place where everything grows so organically.
Yeah.
And definitely it needs to have some kind of foundation in terms of understanding what the thought process is for towards the people.
Mm-hmm.
mm, I'm not so sure about how long it takes for us to execute the same, because by the time you actually sanction smart city and then execute it and then people go and stay there, it takes about 15 years or so. That's how it seems like right now. I wish it could have happened a lot more earlier, or at least there was some method to sort of grow while you're making it. A lot of
Yeah.
designers who are into this. I'd like your views as well.
Well, it's interesting. In technology, we rarely work with architects. The architecture happens, and then the people move in, and then sometime, a year or 5 years later, the technology shows up. I did a project in Singapore 4 or 5 years ago, and it was very um, innovative, because the Singapore government brought together technologists. This is when I was at IBM.
Hmm.
They brought together city planners,
Hmm.
right? And they brought together architects,
Hmm.
and they put us in a room, and they said, "This is the problem. Go solve it." And I'll tell you that the seriously, honestly, the biggest problem we had was not trying to solve the problem,
Uh-huh.
was getting the architect to understand the city planner, and the city planner to understand the technology.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because they rarely talk to each other. Our language was different. We spoke about IoT and devices and sensors, and the city planner really did not know what to do with that.
Mhm.
They had no idea what they could do with the technology. They had never thought about it.
Mhm.
They only considered urban issues and policy, and so there's this big disconnect between city planning and
Okay, yeah,
strategy and architecture, right? I mean, what kind of architecture do you focus on? Residential, commercial?
both.
Okay. When's the last time you had a discussion around how technology applies in a building?
Mm. We talk a lot about solar panels. I'm not sure if that helps. It doesn't really qualify.
Yeah.
And not so much. See, we aren't really aware of the implementation of technology within architecture.
Uh-huh.
And so it becomes very design oriented into something which is completely very conceptual. It's not
Yeah.
so much about technology oriented or how we can actually enhance architecture through technology,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the users.
Yeah. Yeah.
Technology and architecture has the same goal. It's to enhance the understanding of the user. It's the understanding of the functionality for the user.
Yeah.
They're two different components, but then when you combine both, that's when you have a smart city. That's the whole point of a smart city. When
Yeah.
architecture, smart city planners, and architects become aware of each other and
Mm-hmm.
understand the equation, that's when you start making this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
But the issue is they very rarely sit together in the same room and have that conversation. Yeah. So what kind of projects are you working on?
So we have some township planning which is going on in Guwahati, that's in Assam, towards the east of India.
Yep. I
And
was there a few months ago.
excellent.
Yep.
And it's abutting the Brahmaputra River.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 250 acres. So we've divided a couple of phases.
Yeah. So is that an integrated township? That includes schools and hospitals
Yeah,
and all the commercial planning?
that's right.
Okay. So when you do that, are there any models that you look at in India or outside of India as templates for what these should look like?
Yes, so outside of India, we haven't explored so much yet. But within India, I think the only planned city in India is Chandigarh, which was designed by Le Corbusier.
Yeah.
And we have cities which are allotted as heritage city. Now there's Ahmedabad. But then you see the other cities within India. When you have to understand them, you need to understand what kind of movements they have and how, whether it's architecture or landscaping or economic, how
Yeah. That looks like my driver's lost. Give me a minute.
so which India is it?
There's some road work happening, and he had to take a detour, and I think he got lost.
Are you in Chennai?
Yeah, tonight.
Have
Yeah.
you seen the Alagappa?
Yeah, just give me one moment so we can figure this out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is what happens when city planning doesn't work very well. So I missed your question. Sorry.
So within Chennai, there's something. There's a university called Alagappa University and Alagappa schools. So
Okay.
they are extremely strong in terms of planning, but I would call it more small scale planning.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of township planning, but then they're very meticulous in terms of understanding spaces and drawing out the institutions for their for the people of the cities. So it's quite an experience just to go around their schools. Some of them are in Karaikudi actually. You'll have to step outside Chennai and go towards Karaikudi, and that's Alagappa University. They have some amazing spaces that they've built. And these are
Mm-hmm.
easily around 60, 70-year-old universities.
Okay. So how often does city planning and township planning occur? I mean, I've as I meet people and administrators, one of the comments that I always get is we don't plan very well here in India. What's your perspective on how that happens and why things happen the way they do?
We underestimate the capacity of the people. One.
Yeah, the creativity and the capacity.
No, the creativity is there, no problem. But the
Yeah.
capacity for the attraction power of a city. So,
Yeah.
for example, you and I would probably sit and say, okay, let's plan a city for 10,000 people.
Yeah.
But then we underestimate that that city has the power to attract so many people. Tomorrow it might become 1 million.
Yeah.
So that's where we underestimate the numbers and not so much the creativity. I completely know that everybody's creative, you're creative, everybody's creative, even the technology world, architects. Maybe they don't know how to communicate, that they learn eventually. But then
Yeah.
it's the what do you call that? The forethought, the understanding of somewhere you need to be a fortune teller and say, I think I foresee 10 million people coming to the city, and maybe
Yeah.
build backwards, do the reverse engineering that way.
Yeah. No. For Christmas, my family and I went to Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
and we went to Hanoi, the capital, and then we went to Saigon in South Vietnam, and it felt very strange to walk around a large city and not have the volume of people that you see here in India, right? If you walk around any city in India, there's just masses of people they're waiting for a bus, they're crossing the street, they're driving the cars, they're riding the motorcycles, and that density is something that you get used to. And then you go spend a week somewhere else, and you ask people, where is everybody? And they tell you, this is everybody. This is rush hour. So the volume of people here is much higher. And it's something that you have to deal with in the cities. Absolutely. Good. Is there anything else that's at the top of your mind with regards to technology and cities and smart cities?
Yes. According to you, how do you integrate technology into smart cities?
Well, there's two approaches. One is, a policy perspective, which is what the government is doing with the 100 cities, the Smart Cities program, where they're trying to encourage and mandate specific technology initiatives. Um, but the reality is it's also organic. People bring the technology, unfortunately or fortunately, right? So cars bring the GPS. Your cell phone has a GPS. As you walk around the city, Google and Facebook and Bing and everybody, they know where you are. They build models of how the city operates, right? So there's a policy perspective, and then there's also just the organic technology progression perspective. Um, what would be interesting to me would be to see how the government can leverage what is happening organically, right? How many cell phones, how many mobile phones are there in Bangalore, right? And how much information is being
Okay,
captured,
I have no idea.
and how much information is being captured by those, right? And how much value could the government get from all that information, right? But they're not. For privacy reasons, for technology reasons, etc. Right? But there's so much data being captured by Uber, by Ola, by Food Panda, right? And all of that could be used to improve government, right? So for example, Zomato, right? Food ratings, right? In New York City, they're combining the food ratings from food apps with city health notifications, whether restaurants have or don't have a certificate to be a restaurant, right? So that's just an example of how city and commercial industry can collaborate on the data and on the platforms that they have. Um, and I haven't seen too much of that here in India yet. I'm sure it'll come. It'll probably start in cities like Bangalore, that has a huge technology base. But it's up to people like you who live there to be creative and look around and propose and ask and prod and push the government to do things. So, okay. Any other thoughts, comments, recommendations from an architect to a techie guy on what we can do better?
I think I've made a lot of technology-related queries about architecture and how spaces can affect them. So I think if there's something that would enhance the communication, that would be fantastic. Currently,
Yeah.
there's this feeling that architects are up in the sky and they're not really down to earth, and they don't have the skill sets to sort of communicate. So maybe bridging the gap would be something that I would like to focus on and understand how to go about that. If that can happen
That
with technology, then why not?
so I think I agree with you that needs to happen. It doesn't. It's not happening, and it needs to happen. And it should probably start at universities by helping new architects as part of their curriculum get exposure to technology and what technology can do, right? And maybe the exposure from technology people to urban planners, city planners, architects, so that they understand that it's not about the technology, it's about the people and how the people live.
Yes.
Right. If you talk to a technologist, they'll talk to you about sensors and analytics and data and megabytes and petabytes, right? But they won't talk to you about the people, right? So I agree that there would be a lot of value in bringing those two together. So, okay, my battery's about to run out here, so I'm gonna have to drop. But thank you for hopping on today. And I'm hoping to do a few more of these. I really enjoy talking to people from different cities, different domains. So thank you, and hopefully we'll chat again. Okay.
Really, thank you so much.
All right.
That's all.
Have a wonderful Saturday. Bye.
You too. Thank you.